Yo, my dudes, what's up? I hope you are well, and I just want to formally welcome you to the video. Let's get in. So I was gonna go to the beach today to record this video, and it's a really nice day, but it's very windy, and because I don't have a clip-on mic, it's not really gonna work out. So I'm just gonna have to record it here at the house so you can hear the sound through the camera and it'll all be good. So today's video is gonna be a little different than the videos I normally make. It's gonna talk about how I went from being a super anxious, depressed kid to who I am now. Now I'm still the same kid, but in a lot of ways, I'm a whole lot different. So the aim of this video is to give you practical advice on things you can start doing and little habits you can build up and such to basically change your mindset and change your life. And I don't say that lightly. Depression and mental illnesses are a huge thing. I would not throw the word around lightly. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of what I went through, but mainly about how you can change your mindset. Disclaimer alert, this video is not for any pitiful purposes. This is not for you to feel sorry for me or anything like that. This is telling you how I was in a very bad state and how I went to a better state, okay? So this is to give you advice on what you can do if you're feeling low, if you are just not feeling the best, if you are extremely low. These are things that I hope that can help you to basically feel a lot better in yourself. Sit back, buckle in, and let's get into this deep talk, man. So for me, there was a definitive point where I decided I'm going to change my mindset from that of being a victim to being the best version of myself. So I consciously made that decision that I don't want to be the victim anymore. I don't want to feel bad about myself. I don't want to keep feeling bad for myself. I don't want to keep feeling like everybody is just against me, but I want to feel like I am actually becoming the best version I can of myself. So once you've had that moment where you've decided you want to change, the change doesn't just happen overnight. So I didn't just decide one day, I want to be happy. I want to, stop feeling bad for myself and I want to get out there and live life. That's what I thought, but obviously that didn't manifest overnight. That took a lot of time, it took a lot of patience, and it took a lot of effort. What I mean by effort is the fact that I had to develop good habits and get rid of all the bad habits that were basically forcing me into that situation. And it's important to note that when I say I wanted to change, that was not easy for me to say. That was not easy for me to admit to myself that I am at the low, and I am really low, and I don't want to be that low anymore. So this was after years of feeling absolutely terrible about myself, doubting myself, having little self-confidence, avoiding all social situations and all that kind of stuff. So when I say that there's a moment where you decide you want to change, I mean really change. I don't just mean oh yeah, I want to be happy and not be ready to... Ooh, the door just opened up. That was weird. So in that moment where you decide you want to change, it's not just you saying, I want to change. It's you saying, I want to change, and I'm going to do absolutely everything in my power to be the person I want to be. So it's not just wishing for a quick fix or thinking, I want to be happy, I'm going to be happy. That's great, but you have to put action to those words, and that's what I did. Decided to myself, look, I've got to change a lot about myself if I want to be not this really not so great version of myself, and I want to become the best version of myself. There's a lot of things I have to do. It's not going to be easy, but I knew once I stuck to those things, it was eventually going to happen. Gradually and slowly, over time, I'm going to feel better. Being the person that I am, I'm not even sure what word you'd use to describe this kind of trait. Maybe it's a addictive personality or a intense personality. I don't know. The best way for me to do this was to do a complete 180-degree turn, drop anything that was bad for me, and foster all the good things that I was doing in my life. So slow and steady can win the race. I got the best results when I was radical and I just strictly said, if that's not good for me, I'm not doing it. If that's good for me, I'm going to do it. And then constantly doing that with all aspects of my life. Okay, so that's the first thing, is actually admitting to yourself that you want to change. So that's what I call the mindset shift. So once you decide that you want to shift your mindset, it's time to put action to those words. So you cut out everything that is bad and you keep doing everything that is good for you. So when it comes to cutting bad habits, you want to cut anything that basically drains you mentally or emotionally that is linked to the reason that you think you are feeling really low. So for me, what sparked my depression and general self-hatred and self-doubt was my physical appearance. I was not happy about how I looked, and I will talk about that later, but basically I'm going to keep it short for now. Wasn't happy about how I looked. So a good example of something I had to cut out was spending a lot of time on social media. Because I was constantly looking at people who looked, amazing and were portraying the best versions of themselves, I had to stop looking at that because that was actually affecting my whole situation. Like, if you don't think you look good and then you see hundreds of people a day who you think look really good, you just feel like they're better than you. You feel like you're really, really ugly or whatever it is. So that's why you gotta cut those kind of things that are linked to why you're feeling really, really bad. So by cutting out social media, I didn't cut it out completely. What I did was I would restrict myself from using my phone when I would wake up and before going to bed. So 30 minutes to an hour before bed and 30 minutes to an hour after waking up, I would not look at my phone, I would not look at social media, and then throughout the day I would actively try and not just scroll through social media for the sake of it. I would go on social media if I had a reason to go on, like if I wanted to post something or if I wanted to message someone, then I would go on, but not just go on to pass time and end up fueling my self-hatred for myself. Okay, so another bad habit I cut out was comfort eating. I found myself just like, if I was feeling really bad, I would go to food. Like, everybody does that in certain senses. I tried to cut this out as much as I could. So if I was feeling really, really, really low on myself, I would not just go straight for like a chocolate bar or, some really sweet biscuit. Instead, I would just wait for my meals and try and enjoy the actual meals more rather than comfort eating. Because comfort eating can be like really, really dangerous. It can be quite unhealthy. It can lead to eating disorders. Normally, if you cut out those kind of comfort eating, you will be a lot healthier because you're eating for functionality, you're eating for nutrition, you're eating for a greater purpose than just feel good, Because that was one thing. I didn't want to feel good from the food. I wanted to feel good from myself, not the food. Okay, so once you've cut out all the bad stuff, all the bad habits, then you've got to really develop good habits. 21 days to 2 months is how long it takes to form good habits. Depends on the task. 21 days for maybe smaller things like waking up and meditating, whereas to develop a habit of, say, going to the gym 5 days a week may take that a little bit longer because it's more intense. It's a longer period of time. You're going for 1 hour to 2 hours. It's more than just 5 minutes in the morning. So the key is obviously patience when it comes to trying to develop good habits. Habits and things that I tried to force myself to do every day. So one thing to note is that you're not going to wake up every day and want to do all these things that you said you need to do. That's just human nature. Some days you're going to wake up, you're just going to want to not do anything, you're just going to want to maybe sleep in. But the key is to be really strict with yourself. It can be very, very hard mentally, emotionally, but it builds up your mental stability, your mental endurance, and your just strength as a person overall. So, things that I did. Number 1 being meditate. This does not have to be super, super long. It can be 5 minutes, it can be 10 minutes. For me, meditation is just sitting in a nice quiet place, being relaxed, letting your thoughts flow by and just not personally attaching to them. So if you're feeling a thought of self-doubt or you're even thinking of somebody else, just try not to really hang on to those thoughts. Just when a note comes into your head, acknowledge it, but then just let it float by. A lot of people obviously think meditation is really hard and such, but meditation can actually be quite easy when you just think of it not as this really hard skill, but just as this thing I do with my thoughts. I just let thoughts come in and I let them go. Simple as. 2. This was one thing I was doing already, but then once I decided I want to change my mindset, I decided I gotta keep doing this, no matter what, So for me, that was exercise and just working out in general. So I was very into weight training and building muscle because it gave me a sense of satisfaction. Because I wasn't happy with how I looked, like my facial appearance, I was getting happier with how I looked overall. So my body and my abs, my legs, anything like that. So that really did help. And also because when you work out, you're going to sweat, you're going to get a rush of endorphins after your workout. And that just makes you feel so good. It's a really good way to de-stress. It's a really good way to just get a boost in yourself. I'm always so much more confident when I come out of a workout rather than say when I wake up. It's just how it is. So definitely do try and get a workout in, whether that be going for a run, going for a cycle, going to the gym, just some sort of exercise. Try and get something every day. So number 3, I started eating cleaner. I now eat a plant-based diet. I was not vegan at that stage. I was still eating meat, I was still eating eggs and dairy and whatever. But what I did was I started out small by cutting out refined sugars. So I cut out like all chocolate bars, sweet biscuits, cakes, this kind of thing, and just kind of went to fruit and vegetables as a snack instead. So keep it simple at the start, just cut out the really bad stuff and focus on eating your maybe 2-3 meals and then eating healthy snacks. That's it. Okay, so number 4 is cold showers. Cold showers can be a scary thing to get yourself into, but this relates to another point of mine, which is to do stuff that scares you. So when you get into a cold shower, I find that I leave everything at the door. If I'm feeling stressed before going in, if I'm feeling sluggish, if I'm feeling tired, once I'm in that shower, because of the intensity of the water hitting me, it's so cold. You're just there like, whoo! Damn son, this is cold. Because of the extremity of the water and how cold it is, I just feel like I can't feel self-doubting when this thing is so intense. I can't really feel sluggish when this water is so cold and extreme that it's making me, move, and it's making me try and get warm again. So yeah, I find that cold showers just really reset me. So if I wake up and I'm feeling groggy, hop into the cold shower, come out, and I'm feeling so much better. Number 5 is just what I briefly mentioned, is to do things that scare you. That's a scary thought, I know. So do things that scare you, and when you plan something, always commit to it. These can be small or big things. This can be jumping into the water at Christmas time when it's really cold. Or it could simply be just going to an event that you once signed up for, but then once the day came around, you weren't really pushed to go. But because you had that intention to go, I think you should still go, because once you come out of it, you're probably going to feel quite proud of yourself for going. Even if the event wasn't great and maybe it may have been a waste of time, you're probably going to feel quite proud of yourself for actually going. So the aim of this whole concept of doing things that scares you is to do things that aren't going to give you direct comfort straight away, but once you've done those things, you're probably going to come out feeling like, damn dude, fair play, you just did that, man, you should be proud of yourself. If you jump into the ocean at Christmas time, it's probably freezing. But once you come out, you're probably going to feel a sense of accomplishment because you actually just did that. You just went into the water, it was really cold, you knew you didn't want to go in, but you still did it. So that's really what it comes down to for me. I could talk about this kind of thing all day because I went through this whole thing of feeling bad about myself, being depressed for years. So for 2.5 years of school, I basically felt like this the whole time. I was always quiet and shy. I was not very self-confident anyway, but when a certain thing happened to me, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, so this just dampened my self-confidence even more and led me into a spiraling confusion of trying to feel better. So basically this is what I eventually decided I was going to do to feel better and to improve myself as a person, and that was simply, like I said, changing my mindset. So there was a definitive point where I said, I don't want to feel like this anymore. And I'm going to do everything I can in my power to not feel this way anymore. So you have to have that first intrinsic motivation to say you want to change. And then you basically got to do the action. You've got to not just say it, but you've got to start doing stuff that's going to help you feel better. Cut out all the bad habits and basically foster loads of good habits into your life. Okay, so that wraps up the video. Hopefully you got some value out of the things that I mentioned, things that you can start doing or things that you can look out for if you're feeling quite low and if you want to basically improve your mindset. Thank you for watching the video. If you haven't seen part 1, please do check that out because that's the backstory to why I was feeling this way before. That kind of supports the points that I talk about and gives it more background so you can understand why I did certain things. So if you got some value from this video, please do leave a like, leave some feedback, and of course if you're new, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Peace out, my dudes.